This is J Kwest. These are my 24/7 HH King bars from my record Still Alright. I thank God I'm alive, now I'm trying to live. I wake up and high five like we little kids. Then we off into the fire, so whatever will, let it be, I will be still. I'm all right, and that's me. I ain't saying that it's perfect. It's plenty I don't like. Complaining ain't worth it. I'm strong enough fighting. When you living day to day and say you only trying to eat, but all you got is cereal, go on, eat them Fruity Pebbles, G. There's so much anger and so much negativity in hip hop right now, and rappers always gotta act like you so hard and stuff. We good, like smile. There's a lot of joy in life, and sometimes I even get called naive because I'm so happy and optimistic and positive about the world around me. And it's not like I don't see the bad that's going on, but what's complaining gonna do, you know? And so I wanted this record and even the setup for everything that's happening. Like, look, if all you got is Fruity Pebbles and some water, make it happen. Like, you got a meal. Some people don't even have that. So to be able to look at life and see the very little that you might have, but can you find appreciation in that even before you get more? Hard times need a rebel. Be from the south side where the bass gotta stand where the treble is. Trying to throw lemons and salt on my winnings, so my business is selling lemonade and pretzels. What is half empty, man? It's always something. If life taught me nothing, it's always something. And you can cave to it and be a slave to it, but you gonna end up okay. So today got $100 left and I owe 112. Still, don't it feel alright? Got a quarter tank of gas and I gotta make it last. Still, don't it feel alright? So it's that treble and that bass line, which is pretty obvious, but then the extra layer on that is me and my family and many black people who came from the south side of Chicago, we were forced to stay on the south side of Chicago by the powers that be, the power base that keeps us where the trouble is in the city, keeps us in those places of violence, keeps us away from the lakeshore and tries to take back land and tries to take back things that belong to us and where our communities come from. People in power, the power base, would keep black people in this section called the Black Belt. It's like this little area, and that was the only place where black people could live through restrictive covenants, and I ain't trying to kick too much knowledge, but through housing policies and everything that kept people in places where poverty and violence would continue to happen. The base keeps us where the trouble is, and that's just something that my family and I have had to deal with our entire life. And when you grow up in that, you realize, like, wow, they really not giving you a chance no matter what. No matter how you come out, whether it's charter, private, public schools, all that kind of stuff don't matter, because the most basic impression that people have is that you ain't nothing and you ain't gonna be nothing, and we don't expect you to be nothing. And so I'm trying to give the shorties out there a word of inspiration to say, like, no, we got this. And if all they give you is lemon and throw salt on your game, then all right, here's what your business is going to be. Entrepreneur, you're going to set up lemonade and pretzel stand. You know, you're going to be Auntie Annie's in the midst of the struggle right now. And so I just wanted to respond to that, to say how unjust that is, to say how evil that is, that sometimes our people are forced to be in a certain place. I know me, I'll get a bill, my paycheck will be spent before I even get the paycheck. And that can be a really frustrating and defeated feeling of getting money and knowing that that money already belongs to somebody else. How can you still find hope and still say, you know what, I'm good though, I'm good. I'm gonna take care of these problems, and then we're gonna keep it moving and bounce back. You know, or sometimes I know I'll say this, like, listen, I want to go out with you, but I only got a quarter tank of gas right now, so I think I'm chilling for the weekend. And like, the only reason you home is because you ain't got no gas, you know. And to still find positivity and light in the midst of all of that, you know, just having fun with it. Back on top and starting to feel like a chef on Chop, and only the hood know me like a black on shop. But talking to them LKs, Jay could get you killed, but still I'm all right with little youngins who on voters who I try to kick it. We stop believing in the government, we politicking and getting money. Bad boys like the 80s Pistons selling the drugs that they gave us as hell. It's a hell of a system. So Chopped is this show on Food Network where they'll give you like a banana, a donut, and some octopus tail or something, and be like, all right, make a meal out of that. And I feel like sometimes, whether it's because you black or Latino or whatever you're going through, that sometimes that's what life has given us. Like, it just ain't built for us, and we got to try to make the most out of it, out of these few ingredients that life has given us. We got to try to make a meal. We got to try to feed our communities and do all of this work so that we can survive and thrive as a people. And so I feel sometimes like as an MC trying to do this kind of work, that I'm that chop chef who's getting these ingredients and trying to make the best out of it. And then the LKs is the Latin Kings. And so a lot of times what will happen is if I'm going out and doing a show and my mother will be like, well, should you be going over there? Really? You know, like, is that a safe place to be? Like, we can't do all our shows on the north side or where, you know, in the venues. Sometimes you got to go out where the people are. That's who I love the most. I love my people, and you can't be afraid of your people just because it's violent or because you know it's getting cracking on that block. Like, the moment we get afraid of our people is the moment that we're defeated. And so to continue to love our people, and I love my people even when they holding guns in their hands, you know, because I know that they're better than that, and that there's more to them and their story and that community story than that. And I'm trying to share that community story. And so, yeah, I'm going to talk to the LKs and the GDs and everybody else to let them know that I love them and that I'm here for them. A lot of these young kids on the block, like, they strategize, but they don't vote. They politic, but they don't vote. They're smart, but they're not engaged in the same systems that we are. And sometimes we get disengaged because of that. And we don't get the opportunities that we should get because we're not sitting at the table. And that's something that I really try to get at in a lot of my music and a lot of my life when I'm talking to shorties and just letting them know, like, look, I know you're upset. I know it's a lot that's tearing us apart right now, but if we're not at the table, what we gonna do? So that one right there is like, that's like my Tupac cadence, my little shout out to Tupac, and a way of saying that I'm with these young folks who are out here and politicking and on the block, and listen, they're not voting, they're not engaged in the process because the process don't mean anything for them. Why would they engage? Why would they do that? But then what other people will say is, oh, well, if you're not voting, if you're not engaged in the process, then that means that you're stupid, or that means that we get to decide for your community for you. And so to try to engage at this level is to say, look, I know it's a lot going on, and I know that you're disengaged and disenfranchised and disenchanted and this everything, but that we need to still stay locked in, because if we're not at the table, who's going to decide for us? Who's going to make these decisions about our community if we aren't there to make them for ourselves? How we supposed to get along? Keep writing them songs that hopefully right wrongs, and hopefully, man, hoping is only half of the battle. Praying and doing nothing, like complaining about being out of shape, but you hate running on my knees messed up high. It's always something. If life taught me nothing, it's always something. And you can cave to it and be a slave to it, but you gonna end up okay. So today got $100 left, but I owe $112. Still, don't it feel all right? So one thing that happens is, like, you get to exercising or saying, I'm gonna exercise, I'm gonna do all of this, and then I hear people say all the time, oh, well, my knees are messed up. You know, I can't really exercise anymore. I can't do this anymore. We make up excuses for why we can't get stuff done. And I know that a lot has happened to us, but we got to be honest, too, and say that we make up a lot of excuses, too, and a lot of reasons why our life isn't the way it's supposed to be, because somebody did this to me, because they did that to me. And we look at ourselves as victims, but we're not just victims. I mean, stuff has happened, but you're not a victim. We're not a victim. I mean, we have some control and agency over our life too, if we will take ownership of our life and take responsibility for what we have and have not done. Your knees messed up. All right. It's always something, right? So this record came from me sitting in the studio with Hilton Wright, Deuce Wright, who produced the record. And we were just talking, like we were watching the news is on in the background about everything going on, whether it's the protests or just the anger that's in the world right now, and even the anger that's in hip hop right now. And he was like, man, what kind of vibe you want? I got a million ideas in my head. I want to give you something. And I literally said, man, the only thing I want is something that ain't angry, something to let us know we're going to be all right. I mean, whatever I get, I want it to be something that's that. And so he made this record, and it just had just the dopest vibe and just the groove on it that just let me know, like, all right, this is what we got to say right now. We got to let our people know that for everything that's going on right now, we all right. We got this. Even when it doesn't feel like we got it at all, I'm all right. We're still all right. No matter what, I'm still all right.